Okay, I just stopped and I'm doing this as a part 2. So we're on the vlog 11. It's March the 4th, 2021. This is the Boeville in Newtown. I'm Ray Boeville, your host. Thank you. Got a bunch of new subscribers and a few new patrons, so thank you for jumping in. Teespring is also going ahead and get the glasses back up so they're not... So I've gotten some folks to go into my Teespring store. I've got 1 or 2 new patrons, and I've also picked up a couple of new subscribers. Thank you all for joining. You all are in for a wild ride now because as you've seen in vlog 10, I started working on the 2nd level. This is a continuation of that. I actually ended this on the 4th, and then I'm starting it back up on the 4th. I think I need a 5th after all of this. Anyway, I've got things semi-mocked up, and you're gonna have to bear with me with the mess that's over there at the moment. But we're gonna swing the camera here and take a look and see exactly what's going on. So give me a minute, we'll be right back. Okay, I realize one thing with this camera now. I'm back on the handy cam still. But with the way I've got it rigged up here, it does have a tendency to wobble a little bit, so you're just going to have to bear with me. Okay, this is where, you know what, I should have started over here. Wait a minute, let's back up a second. Alright. Okay, so, yeah, I know, the boxcars are laying over. Dum-dum me should have moved them out of the way, and I didn't. And the warehouse fell over, and, well, they'll be alright. So this is, I guess, for lack of a better term, the north end of Boeville, or what will be Boeville. That is 6.5 inches wide, and that is that piece that's sticking out. I'm going to cut that off, obviously, but that piece will be separated from everything else. And you know what? Maybe it'd be better if I did it this way. This piece is going to be separate from everything else. I'm only right now concerned about building over top of the tracks. So, which has been a pain. Trying to get everything lined up and things of that nature, and I've already screwed a couple things up, and I'll probably mention that. I'll blame Heath later. But this area here is where that level is currently sitting, is where Union Station will eventually sit, and that board actually needs to be, I need to go up, and I'll do that this weekend on my table saw, and I need to cut this down. This needs to be a 3-foot section on this side. This piece will get removed and may get reused later. That makes way for this piece that's currently sitting on top, because I needed to go ahead and make sure I got a decent mark. So what's going to happen is these 2 pieces will be independent of each other. So that way I can take up one side, or I can take up the other side. I don't have to try and lift a 6-foot piece out of the way to get to an issue. Which takes us to the south end of the second deck. And that is over here behind the drill. Now, this area over here ended up being a little bit unique. And I say that because, unlike the front end, and of course I got a piece of wood sticking out because I didn't have one long enough or short enough to actually fit in here. Anyway, this is the south end. And what's going to happen here is this doesn't stop here. This actually has to continue down and cover the main lines on the backside. Well, why is that? That is because this meets up with the hills, which is where the houses are going to be as we go over the gorge. Remember, I've talked about the fact that I figured it out that I did not have enough room for all my structures, and I want to be able to keep them all. So this piece has to continue all the way. Of course, this will probably get changed. That particular hill I just had it there, as we all know, as a temporary, but the wood will have to go all the way down to here. So I've got other plywood. Obviously these need to be reshaped. These need to be cut down, reshaped. That needs to get fixed. I'm not sure what I'm doing with that yet. I don't know if I'm going to use it, if I'm going to let it go. I'm not sure what I'm doing with the Brown Hill yet. But, so what I've been thinking about with the gorge, I'm hoping I'm on it. No, I'm not on it. Let's go back over this way a little bit. There we go. What I'm kind of thinking with the depression area here is making a dam scene. Damn. So you'll have a road, and the road will actually go over the dam. And then you'll have the river down here, as I go ahead and knock everything out of the way here. But you'll have a dam scene here, and that'll hide those two tracks, which should be hidden anyway. And I've talked about this multiple times, that these should not be seen. That whole section from the yard all the way down the backside is not supposed to be a part of the scenic layout. At least not right now. Maybe in the future that may change. But so we're off topic here. Let's go back over to the town of Boeville. Okay. So, as stated before, reuse, repurpose, recycle. I think I'm doing a pretty good job of that at the moment. Like I said, I still have some extra plywood. I shouldn't say extra plywood. I've got some other plywood that I can finish off, and it'd probably be better to show it over on this side. Alright. Because what's going to be, there'll be a backdrop here. So again, you won't see this side if you're on this side. Vice versa, you won't see this side if you're over on that side. So there will be a backdrop down the middle here. So there has to be another set of plywood on the back. However, that can be a little bit more permanent because there's nothing underneath of it over here. This is wide open space. So I really don't need to do what I was doing over here. I can just make it one big piece, and we should be good. That section will be 18 inches wide and 6 feet long. But like I said, I shouldn't have to worry about lifting that because there's nothing over on this side. Here it is. Let me put this back up here for a minute. So here's the warehouse. So there's your warehouse. So you're not going to, there's nothing underneath of this. There's nothing there. So, and then of course this here one, I may end up taking, I figured it out. I probably can take a floor off, and I may end up doing that. Although, I was also thinking I might make the warehouse double-sided. So in other words, the railroad services it on, obviously down here in the yard. Get your hand down, there we go. The railroad services the warehouse from the yard, but they could also go ahead and take things up to street level, load up trucks, and, whatever. So I'm kind of thinking I might leave one floor on there, or one story on there, just for that. I think that would be kind of neat to make it a double-sided warehouse, at least to a point. You're really not going to see it. That may come, I don't know. I'm still toying with that idea, just like everything else on this layout. I'm still messing with it. So, I'm going to be busy the next day or so, but I'm hoping maybe Saturday I can go ahead and, after I get finished doing some other things around the house, I might actually be able to get down here, or not down here, I might be able to take the wood that's down here, take it up to the garage, make some cuts, and bring it back down here and actually start making this a little bit more permanent instead of just rigged up, because like I said, right now it actually is literally rigged. And what I'm doing here, in case anybody is wondering about the MDF or the particle board that's up underneath, these are going to be used as stiffeners to help support the plywood, because obviously without something to hold the plywood, you can already see this piece here is sagging. So I can use these pieces here to kind of stiffen the plywood back up, and like I said, that won't add a whole lot of weight. I mean, these are fairly light, so I can do that. And then what I'm thinking of doing here is the stiffeners would be obviously on the plywood, and then these braces here would just be there just to hold the blocks, the 2x4s in place that are standing up on end. And that would help. If these here go right to the edge, that's what helps to lock everything in. So you basically come up underneath of it, lift it, pull it out, you're done. At least that's the theory. Like I said, we'll see what happens once I really start cutting this stuff down and making sure everything is square, kind of like the owner, and going from there. But for right now, that's all I've got for the moment. So we're going to stop it here. I'll make those cuts over the weekend. Hopefully we'll have some more video to show. Until then, stand by. Okay, before I got too much further, and it happens to be Saturday, March the 6th, I've already got this section and the section back here, and I don't even know if you can see what I'm talking about. Jeez. Okay, let's do it this way. So this section here is in place. This section here is in place. This section is not. And that's what I'm going to show, what I did with the other two sections to try and get it to where to get the board to lay flat and so on and so forth. Because as I've mentioned, you know, I reuse, repurpose, recycle, and this is actually one of the screws that actually would be holding things in place for the moment. What I'm eventually going to do is I'm going to put pegs in here to hold everything in place alignment-wise instead of the screws, because I may end up covering the screws, and of course if I do that, yeah, that's not going to look too well. So let's see, did I get it? No, not yet. I was trying to figure out how, there we go. I was trying to get everything kind of lined up. That's the reason why it was down semi-permanently there. So now what we're going to do, I just obviously flip the board over here. So this is the back, that's the front. And what I need to do here, that's going to be too long. That's probably going to be a bit short, but that's okay because we can work with that. Maybe. I thought that I had it off to the side. Okay, maybe not. But that's okay. I can always cut it. All this is there for is to try and get things to kind of to settle back out a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do here is find my pencil we're gonna make, yeah, very scientific, isn't it? We're just gonna make a mark, which means I'm gonna have to go make a couple of cuts, which isn't exactly something I was looking forward to doing, because I have to do it down here in the basement. Because, and of course those around the area would know that one of the issues that we're having right now is we've got a lot of wind, and it's not exactly very nice outside right now. I actually finally took down my Christmas lights. I know everybody can laugh about that, say that I was early for next season, whatever, it doesn't matter. Between the weather that we've had and other goings on, I did not get a chance to take down my Christmas lights until today. So, c'est la vie. It is what it is. So what I'm doing here, once I get the drill going in the right darn direction, I just countersunk those screws, and now make sure that that's pretty well straight. I know I should have turned it in the other direction. It would have made more sense. But then again, I don't make a whole lot of sense. There we go. Now the only thing I gotta do is just cut down these two boards here. Hiding the pencil on myself. Alright, let me go gut these real quick and we'll be back. Okay, so I got the stiffeners in. I forgot about one thing, and that is I had to put this piece on because of the fact that I've got to still do the upper end, because the way this is going to work out, these corners needed to be a part of what comes away when you're working on the, or need to work on the track. So this now just goes and lines right up in here. Now I realize, and of course you probably can't see it, which is fine. There is a minor issue back there, and that's the fact that the board is a little bit wider. The underboard is a little bit wider than a piece of plywood, but that's fine. That doesn't bother me because it's going to get covered up one way or the other. So now what I'm doing is putting this temporary screws in place, and one of these screws over here has to come out. Actually, two of them have to come out, because that's where I have to put the underblocks. So we're going to stop here for a second, and we're going to move on to this last piece. So we'll be back. Dang it. It's the only thing I don't like about this. There's actually a couple things I don't like about the way that this camera is set up at the moment, but it is what it is. Now, if you're wondering what the board was doing there, that was to make sure that everything stayed square, kind of like the person building it. Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a problem. Actually, maybe not. Let's see. I don't think. Oh, that's why not. Yeah, those are way too short for this. This particular board has got some issues. When it was originally cut for the old layout, it didn't get cut correctly. That was problem one. So it's got some, I'm going to have to do some trimming and manipulation on it to get it to sit where I want it. It was also heavily warped. Again, kind of like the person building the layout. Neither does that. Oh, and I see why. I got the wrong board on there. It shouldn't have been one of those. It should have been one of those. See, I've got the same. Maybe this should go on there. That's okay. All right. See if I got another, which I know I do. Or at least I thought I did. Maybe not. Alright, well, I'm going to have to go back into the storage closet and see if I've got another piece of the other type of particle board here, so stand by. And the vision starts to come into play. Unfortunately, that is in the wrong spot. But that's okay, that's an easy fix. Because it's not screwed in place yet. That should have been there. And yes, I know it just popped up. And I've got to get some I gotta get 2 longer screws because I've got to put this one in place and I got to put this one in place. And how that gets done, it's kind of like this. And that's screwing long enough. And now I've got a couple longer ones in here. I just have to see if I can locate them. I thought that maybe that one was long enough. Apparently not. But that's okay. I've got some other screws. So give me a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna have a couple things to clean up, but I did get that to where it's not raising up. So I got a longer screw. I could feel it. It made purchase. Into the wood through the foam. I do have to do some trimming here. I'm going to trim this off over here. This needs to be trimmed yet so it's even. And I still need to cut a board for the opposite end. Down here to line up. It'll come over this way, so that's something else I still need to work on. But other than that, there's the beginnings of the second level. I still have to go back underneath of the, sorry, I went off camera again. I still need to go ahead and come up underneath of this board here and finish putting in the bracing or the stiffeners like I did on the other one. But like I said, for the moment, this has been a pain in the butt because of the fact that I was trying to reuse what I had again, but I'm starting to get to the nitty gritty now. You know, I'm starting to get down to the bottom of the barrel. But I'm able to do it. I've still got a couple of pieces of plywood left. I was kind of looking at that earlier to be able to fill in the backside here. So that way that's done. I've got what used to be Wykert Hill. That'll start this section here going down the back end of the layout. That'll be, once the weather starts to cooperate, right now it's just not cooperating. So that's not going to happen anytime soon. So that's it for right now. I'm going to go ahead and see how long this video is, and then we'll figure out if there's going to be another part to this. Well, there's going to be more parts to this, but if this is going to be the end of vlog 11 or if there's still going to be some time. So we'll see. We'll be back. We'll be back. Okay, so I figured one last time. Well, I've got this, while I was trying to clean things up a little bit after making the mess, I figured I'd go ahead and take the upper deck, well, I had to take the upper deck off anyway so I could go ahead and clean, but, whoops, sorry. But now you see how everything was kind of laid out as far as the blocks that are going to hold up the second level. And of course I do have the warehouse stood back up again, and I did put the rolling stock back on the tracks. So next thing is to finish cleaning this up and then see if I can run a train through it. So we'll be back. Stop. Well, as you can see, it's not back together. And there's a reason. And that is the fact that right behind the drill there is a 2x4, or a partial 2x4. And it's too thick. I thought that it was going to be okay. Running a couple of passes, or running the test car past it seemed fine. But apparently the locomotives are just a little bit wider. And, well, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna shave it down a little bit to get it to work. So, even the best laid plans. So, anywho, that's where we're at. So, I'm going to stop here. Well, so there is the second level. Pretty much, at least with the one half done. Now, a couple of things here. One of the things that I've been contemplating now is, should Union Station be there, or should it be over here, which is where it originally was, or should it be over to this side? My thinking is that it probably might need to be maybe somewhat offset. Maybe not 100% to the left, at least to your right, but not back where it was originally when I had it on the old layout. So still messing with that, because one of the things that is going to happen is obviously when I get to that point, there's going to be an interior to this, and there's going to be steps to the lower level, and there's also going to be lighting underneath it here too. So that's future project. And I know that I actually had some folks talking about, well, the 2x4s are awfully thick. Have you thought about using dowels? Yeah, dowels would probably work well too. Not sure if that's what I'm going to do yet, but they would definitely help with some of the clearance issues that I'm having underneath the station. So hopefully that showed up on there, but regardless, I'm going to flip the viewfinder so I can actually see what's going on here. Sorry for the shake, but this video is already too daggone long, so you all know the deal. Wait for the highball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch you all next time. Be safe. God bless. We will see ya.